no! Oh no, I pushed that down.
No, you ruined everything. No, it's Grinch.
Is it fine?
Yes.
We always have too much space at the top.
Here, can...
We never have enough light, because this room...
Here, do you want me to put the other light on?
Nah, it's fine.
See, behind the veil, everyone, I'll put the other light on.
This room is absolutely brilliant for video work, because it is so many hard surfaces and so little light.
Yeah. We have a great kitchen, though.
Yeah.
We do have a great kitchen.
Which you can see if you look at Snake Girl Sarah's...
Yeah, we were on a live stream.
Yeah, we were interviewed for like 3 hours, and it was supposed to
be... She's like, do you want to be on our live stream? And I'm like, yeah, sure, yeah.
It was supposed to be all about these different things, and it was about none of them.
It was about...
Became about other things.
British chocolate, and just all sorts of things. And how many starling eggs make an omelette. Other kind of stuff like that. But anyway, that's not what you're here for.
Yes, we saw a film.
We did. We're probably going to be the only... If you put this on Channel Awesome, we're going to be like, oh, the only reviewers on Channel Awesome to cover this highly contentious, controversial...
Actually, no. Film Brain did a... I think Chris Stuckman did a video about it. He's not on Channel Awesome, but Movie Bob did a video about it.
Damn it. Yeah. Shut up, we're awesome.
You know.
So what did we see?
We saw Murder in the Orient Express, and Omega here wanted to see it because she's all like, I love Poirot.
But I like his portrayal by David Suchet better. Which Kenneth Branagh, then like his diction, he did imitate. It did sound a lot like that. So, but I also was a bit conflicted because Johnny Depp's in it. And I'm like, but then it's like we're encouraging him. But as it turns out, this was actually kind of pretty cool. And it made me wonder if, like, maybe... I don't know when he was cast for the role, when Branagh cast him. But, like, it kind of ended up being accidentally ingenious casting. So, spoilers for people who don't know. Murder on the Orient Express, there's a murder involved.
On the Orient Express.
On the Orient Express. And the guy murdered is Johnny Depp. But I think that's pretty well lampshaded, in a lot of previews and stuff like that. Or not lampshaded, just telegraphed. So, but he plays an asshole, like a real horrible person, a child kidnapping, child murdering thug. And every bit of, like, knowing what we know about Johnny Depp, like all the horrible things that he's done, it kind of really made him all that more villainous and all that more satisfying when he was murdered, if that makes any kind of sense. And, like, I kind of wonder, like, this was accidentally genius. The fact that, like, we, the audience, might feel such... like distaste and enmity,
It was a...
Just saying. I don't know. Kenneth Branagh, if you're watching, write the show. She'll freak out.
See, she's the Poirot fan, and I'm the fan of Branagh. Directing-wise, he's one of my favourite directors. I don't love many of his films, but I love his directing because it's so old school, but yet it's so over the top. So it's like... It's like his Shakespeare stuff is Shakespeare crossed with an opera. It is, and just in the way it's done, it's so big. His version of Hamlet is like, it's like he wanted to make an epic movie, and he just wrapped it around Hamlet. It's amazing.
Michael Bay explosions.
He's even filmed in 70mm footage. It's like, Jesus Christ. It's like he is like opulence made into cinematic flesh.
We had this joke that 17 drones tragically lost their lives filming. There were a lot of drone shots, there were a lot of really interestingly framed shots, and a lot of the atmospheric shots of like the landscape around the train and the train kind of had a dreamlike quality, like almost like a Thomas Kinkade picture, but without like the horrible Christianity and violent alcoholism. But it reminded me a little teeny bit of the Polar Express.
Yeah.
I think it was the snow in the train.
It's like Snowpiercer, classic edition.
It was. No, but like, and in the beginning, like, it really did seem to be aware of the fact that it's saying, come look back at this time, through the lens of your contemporary perception. Because like you start at the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem, and then this wee little errand boy is like running, and then the exotic music starts up as he's running through a busy marketplace, dodging hither and yon to get back to where he has to go. And it did kind of strike me that this was the 1920s. And a lot of Christie stuff brings across like, oh, the Orient, the Middle East, all these exotic places through the lens of an English viewer. That like, oh, all these exotic, wonderful places where you meet people who all speak English for some reason. But like, and yes, Christie does write Americans incredibly stereotyped. Like they're a lot of the actual, even in the books, a lot of their actual dialogue is just so bad. Like, I would have never wanted to meet her. She would be like, "I'm American, now you," and I'd be like, "Yes, ma'am, I'm sorry."
She did fight a giant wasp on occasion once, as in a giant man-sized wasp. Did you miss that episode of New Who?
No, I thought you just meant that, like, once there were wasps.
It was the story was set during her disappearance, where people had no idea what happened to her, and she had no memory afterwards. And it turned out she was hanging out with the 10th Doctor, punching a giant fucking wasp in the face.
I hate wasps. Must you bring Doctor Who into everything?
Probably.
Really?
I know that episode bothers me because, okay, it is full of these love letters to Agatha Christie. Even this one, like, he has a copy of this book of one of her books, and it's like, oh, look at this cover. It's got a giant wasp on the cover. So clearly she remembered, even though this book was made after she died, and it's like, that makes no sense whatsoever. Why would the cover base it on? It doesn't make sense. But Agatha Christie did a short story called, I believe, The Man in the Brown Coat, who had a mysterious man who ran around who was some sort of doctor. They didn't mention that one.
That's true. That's a good point. Do you know what I found out when I was Googling the other night? Mm-hmm. That there was an anime series that was done that is, half of them are Poirot mysteries and half of them are Miss Marple mysteries through the lens of this young woman who wants to be a detective. And so she goes from America to London to study with Hercule Poirot and then spend half the time with her great aunt, Miss Marple. I actually kind of want to see it, but the only DVD release is NTSC, and it's really dear, but some of them are on YouTube, so I think I watch on YouTube. But, yeah, so everybody in it was famous. You're always going, hey, it's that guy!
Yeah, this is Branagh's best cast since his
Although one
Hamlet.
guy wasn't Jimmy Carr, but it looked like he should have been Jimmy Carr.
Yeah.
Who was that guy?
Don't know him.
Some guy.
But, yeah, the best cast since Hamlet, like, look at the cast list of his version of Hamlet for 96 and be like, holy fuck. I mean, they got Charlton Heston to play the Player King. And they got Richard Attenborough to come in and do one line.
I didn't realize that the Count was Steve Buscemi until the end, because I was like, what's wrong with that guy? I was like, oh, it's Steve Buscemi. Isn't it the guy with the eyes? Who played the ballet Count?
What?
The two people that had the diplomatic immunity, and he, like, attacks a reporter in the beginning and uses kind of capoeira. Wasn't that Steve Buscemi?
No.
Who's the people? Who is that then?
I don't know.
With the big bug eyes.
I'm gonna have to look out. No, Steve Buscemi is like in his 50s. He's way too old to be that guy.
Well, it looked like him.
He looked like young Steve Buscemi.
Well, you know me because I never know people. I'm like, it's that person. And
he's more attractive than Steve Buscemi, so I
don't think he was attractive.
That guy was like, no, he's more classically attractive. So he's the sort of, if you were gonna cast someone to play young Steve Buscemi in a film, you'd cast that guy.
He looked creepy, whereas Willem Dafoe did not.
Willem Dafoe, yeah, and Willem Dafoe managed to turn Jesus into an asshole in Last Temptation of Christ. And he seemed to be an asshole, but then it turned out to be less of an asshole.
Yeah, like it's your basic, you know, Poirot investigates kind of murder. If you're familiar with that, my
Poirot.
Stop it.
I'm Hercule Poirot.
See, the thing is that I know it wouldn't be appropriate, but I wanted a lot of callbacks to the very, very, very long running series Poirot Investigates, and I wanted. It would have been really great to have a cameo by the guy who played Hastings or Chief Inspector Japp, you know, like in a crowd scene or something. And it would have been absolutely fantastic if it ended with a newly arranged version of Christopher Gunning's television theme for Poirot. And stop what you're doing, open another YouTube window, and listen to it because it's fantastic. It's just fantastic.
You know, cameo by Suchet would have been good.
Yes!
I'm pretty sure I've read that he found it a bit of a millstone, and so he possibly wouldn't want to come back.
Fair enough, but like my mom still has a crush on him. I'm just saying, him and John Pertwee doesn't matter. John Pertwee's been dead for a long time.
But like cast here, you've got
everyone.
Penelope Cruz, you got Judi Dench, you got Willem Dafoe, Johnny Depp, Josh Gad, you've got Daisy Ridley, you've got Michelle Pfeiffer.
I didn't realize that she had the scar in real life. I thought that was just a scar that Ray had. Just goes to show.
You got Kenneth Branagh.
Who played the doctor?
That guy, I don't recognize.
He looked familiar to me. I've seen him play stuff. He's a character actor.
That guy I don't recognize. He's probably been on British TV.
Yeah. Even though his accent went back and forth from English to American, like, there was a lot of accent play in this, and some of it was like, aha, I was putting on an accent to fool you, Poirot. But, yeah.
And you have the delightful Kenneth Branagh, you know, scene chewing.
Okay, so one of Poirot's most famous things is his meticulously maintained handlebar mustache, but that wasn't good enough. Kenneth Branagh had to be bigger than life, so he had the mustache. It was a double stash. It went this, and then it went all the way around again.
Yeah.
Look at the poster. It's crazy.
I noted, okay, from the poster and the trailers, it was really obvious he's got the giant mustache.
Yeah, but it's a double one.
If you watch
what does it mean?
If you watch in the cinema, he's got fucking two. One's in front of the other.
It's weird.
It's like he's absorbed Suchet's mustache and turned it grey.
Just weird. One little canon niggle, when they travel by boat, Poirot famously gets very seasick. He hates to travel by boat. Le mal de mer. That's one of the reasons why he refuses to go to America. And I think very, 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 very infrequently travels by boat. There are specific mysteries that center around that, like ones where he has to go on a cruise ship.
Okay, Death of the Nile?
Yeah, Death on the Nile, and there's one... I think the something Bond mystery where he's hired by the British bank to go along with their employee Ridgway and a box of very valuable bearer bonds to give over to a bank in New York City. Yeah.
And the main case of this, like, okay, I'm not a detective person. I've not seen the original Poirots. I was surprised that they were going for the full Lindbergh with this. You know,
no, it's based on Lindbergh. I've read most of the short stories, and I've read some of the novels, but Murder on the Orient Express was not one of the novels that I've read. I knew the ending, you know.
That's the famous ending.
Yeah.
For some reason,
Spoilers. There's a murder.
For some reason, I was surprised that they were going from Turkey to France. I thought for some reason the Orient Express went further east than that. I thought like
but
they were going...
the full thing may. They might have been just picking up on one leg.
Yeah, because of the snow in the trailer and the name, I was expecting them to start somewhere in Europe. And yeah,
they were in Yugoslavia.
Yeah, but even the stopping of the train, I was completely surprised by that because I was expecting it just to be like, we've got this, you know, long journey on the train, and I have to solve the case before we get to the other side. I thought it was going to be something like that.
Now I don't remember, like I don't remember because I never read the book. I don't know which details were adapted for the screenplay or which were.
I'll look up on TV
lifted.
tropes.
Yeah, of course it'll be up on TV tropes. But no, it was really good. It was visually pretty. You know, here's the thing though that like. Most of the audience was middle-aged women and some husbands. So you know that's the audience they like the you know Darjeeling Express or you know the Grand Budapest Hotel kind of crowd, but
they didn't come out for you know local boy Kenneth Branagh, who is from Belfast originally.
Is he?
Yeah.
Did not know that.
He's from Belfast. He is from I think he's from a unionist background and he moved to England when he was at some sort of age like 15 or something. But he usually refers to himself as Irish, Northern Irish, British, whatever. But yes,
Kenneth Branagh's The Troubles.
He is Northern Irish.
Coming to Netflix.
Kenneth Branagh, Sam Neill.
Everything explodes in slow motion, but it's really poignant.
Yeah, see, we have a very limited collection of famous actor people, film
Sam
people
Neill?
over. Sam Neill was originally from Northern Ireland. Yes, he moved. That's another one.
Yeah. So what's her face? Roma Downey.
Yes, the Angel.
Shut up! I love that show.
She's from Derry.
It's like my like. It isn't specifically like any kind of Christian because I don't think Jesus is actually involved in any way.
Although she's an evangelical Christian.
She's an evangelical, but if you take a look at the show, you know that there's God, you know that there's angels, you know that there's Satan the adversary, but Jesus is never mentioned. Like Christian values are never directly extolled. Kind of like you know if you do bad things, it's more just. Most of it is getting you to forgive yourself, the people who've sinned.
Her husband, the guy who was behind the TV show The Bible that had Obama as the Antichrist.
Heard about that.
Obviously we have Liam Neeson.
But hold on, I'm like winding up to my main point there. If you think about it, she could have had the opportunity to try and do a lot worse, but it came across as pretty neutral. Like, you know, I don't know. Just good job. Also, I like Della Reese. It's like, you're a great angel. I would hang out with you anytime. Apparently,
what do you call him? Ray Stevenson, the Volstagg from Thor, and the Punisher in the best Punisher thing, Warzone, is Northern Irish. There's James Nesbitt from The Hobbit.
Oh yeah, he's the something at my uni.
The dean.
No, not the dean.
But basically.
Provost?
Provost, yeah.
Yeah, something like that. I didn't get to meet him last week because the doctoral college launched at Coleraine and Belfast, not at Jordanstown or McGee. Actually, I don't really care that much because I wasn't about to go anywhere, for no donuts and a bit of coffee. But a girl in my PhD program was really annoyed about it. And I was like, I could skip meeting James Nesbitt. I mean, I guess he's a nice guy.
I met him before.
I just wasn't about to go all the way up Coleraine for, light refreshments and meet James Nesbitt, so it'll happen eventually if it's meant to.
It's not really worth it just to become one degree of separation away from Peter Jackson.
Well, technically I'm too, because you met James Nesbitt.
Yeah.
You interviewed him.
You don't need to go up one.
True. Also, speaking of degrees of separation, I have an idea, and I'm going to tweet at both Stephen King and Kevin Bacon, if he's on Twitter. I don't think he is, though. So Kevin Bacon was it a cell phone advert?
Yeah, he's in these UK cell phone adverts right now.
And the way that he looks, he's at the perfect age and level of gauntness that he would be an amazing Randall Flagg. And he even looks a little teeny bit like Stephen King, like with his hair parted that way. So I'm going to tweet at both of them and be like, listen, you guys, you have to make this happen.
You're doing The Dark Tower as a TV show and ignoring the terrible film.
Why not Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, you're ignoring the film wisely.
He could be a walking dude, but anyway.
Although I think Kevin Bacon has been hired for they're doing a Tremors remake or TV show or something. I think he's involved with that because he was in the original Tremors.
Although apparently people are realizing, wait a minute, maybe it is possible to adapt Stephen King because a lot of his novellas are hitting.
Well, it's very possible.
Netflix.
I mean,
well, no, because for a while
Frank Darabont's entire career.
I just felt like they weren't really good.
Yeah, most of them aren't very good, but Frank Darabont built an entire career out of it. He did.
Which ones was he responsible for?
Shawshank Redemption, Green Mile, and The Mist. And then he created the Walking Dead TV show.
Yeah, but Shawshank Redemption and Green Mile, I wouldn't classify as straight horror.
Yeah, but they're Stephen King.
Yeah, they're Stephen King, but I think that he has his kind of I don't even know how to describe it. I don't want to say drama because it's not.
Well, I'll put it this way. He has made 3 Stephen King adaptations.
That have been good.
And they've all been good.
Fair play.
That is a record that no one else can equal.
I need to see someone adapt the short story from Nightmares and Dreamscapes where the guy gets saved by the big chompy teeth. You know, like you get those little wind-up teeth, they go and they hop about? Well, he's saved by a huge metal pair of them. And it's great. And it's fantastic. I want to see that. That and another one from Nightmares and Dreamscapes where the man sees the many-digited finger come up out of the drain of his sink and poke around and no one else sees him and it kind of drives him mad until he finally attacks it and cuts it. I looked askance at my drain for a few weeks after that. I was like,
I like Nightmares and Dreamscapes. It was a decent show.
It was a decent book too. It's a freaking thing.
But back to this. I do like Branagh stuff, and one of the Branagh films is on my list to review, and that is Dead Again, his reincarnation drama, because it's fucking nuts.
You showed me a trailer for that, and I was like, is it serious? Is it taking the piss?
It's hard to tell. It's Branagh. He's sort of, even when he's doing serious, it sort of is a bit silly because he is everything is so over the top. And that's why I like it so much.
Although, I gotta say my favorite line from this took place towards the beginning where he meets up with his friend who apparently either is the steward of or owner of the Orient Express. It's never really made clear. I don't think he's the owner of the company, but I think he's just in charge of the train.
Yeah, something like that.
And he's like, I need to get a room for me and my friend here, she says to this restaurant/tavern place. And he's like, oh, Poirot, how are you? What's the crack and everything? He goes, this woman who's with him, he goes, this is, and he goes, a prostitute. She goes, yeah. And she goes, I am. Really happy. I am a prostitute. How did you know?
I love the Turkish food in that scene. There was
these breads that I'd eat that.
Yeah, and they had all kinds of Turkish just meals.
And they had a wee little cake.
It was like a cooking show.
It was a cake with frosting and a sweet on top and a curly bit. And I was like, I want a cake.
There wasn't a mummy in this. That episode of Doctor Who must have lied to us. There was no mummy.
Yeah, but
although there was Michelle Pfeiffer.
Oh, come on. She's aged fine.
Oh, she has. But I just noticed Johnny Depp in this. I don't know if it was makeup or not, but he is looking much older than he did in other things. And there's this wonderful scene where he's looking in a mirror with horror and
he
disgust.
opens the thing and the mirror. And because looking in himself in the eyes, he knows what he's done in life.
Yeah, but it's like it's as though Johnny Depp hadn't realised he's actually aged 20 years in the last 3. And it's just like, Holy shit! I have wrinkles! What? Where did this happen?
We know what you got up to, asshole.
I don't know why he suddenly started aging now. Maybe his telomeres committed suicide, I don't know.
Well, you know, like, apparently he has quite the drinking problem, and alcohol is hard on you. There's actually, there was a series of billboard adverts in and around Derry that had a woman's face like this, and it was like with like all the effects of alcohol and without, and literally was almost like a 20-year difference between the two of them. And they're like, just think about, if this is what it does to your face, just think about it, what it does to your insides and kind of...
Doo-doo-doo-doo.
Well, you shouldn't drink to excess. That's why, you know...
Well, yes, that's why you have to drink two
I
other
say,
words.
That's why I bought a bottle of tequila at Tesco.
You don't drink to excess, you drink to other words that aren't excess, so you're fine. I drink to globules.
Well, no, I mean, more and more the older I get, like, you know, I'll think to myself, oh, I was gonna get drunk tonight while I play Sonic Mania, but then I'll have, like, a drink, or I'll have 2 drinks, and I'm like, alright, now I'm tired. Never mind, I'll get drunk another time.
I'm really sad about being old.
Shut up. Oh, I'm gonna cry. Internet, you saw it here live. If you support me, right?
You're the one who said we were almost middle-aged.
We are, though. Alright, me more than you.
Well, yeah.
I got carded at Tesco.
Yeah, you look younger than me.
A few weeks ago, I got carded at Tesco. And I said, oh, you think I'm 18? Bless. And she's like, well, you know, Challenge 25. Challenge 25 is a thing here in the UK that if you're selling age-restricted products, such as rated DVDs, or like at my shop we sell cigarettes and Lotto and stuff like that, you have to ask for ID if you suspect they're under 25.
Yeah, just in case, just to make sure they don't get anyone who's
and they,
too young.
What the local councils will do is they will send children out to try to buy tobacco and stuff. Actually, one of our shops got.
Oh.
I don't think it was the one in Belfast. It was either Coleraine or one of the other ones in the north. But yeah, an employee sold tobacco to a 14-year-old.
Oh dear.
So, but here's the thing is, not only will your shop get prosecuted, you will personally get prosecuted. You'll lose your job, your shop will have to pay a fine, and you'll have to pay a fine, and you'll also have that fine and prosecution on your record, so.
Okay.
Yeah. So I've gotten really snappy retorts from people, but, you know. But anyway, she thought that I was 25, under 25. But yeah, no, it was a really great movie. It was really affecting. I think the fact that I liked the source material to begin with colored that. I mean...
I'm sad that it's probably not going to get the sequel that they wanted to set up with Death in the Nile.
Why not? He's got $1 million pounds.
It has not made much money, and it cost
Did they
like
really
60
think
million.
it was... Oh, that's a good point.
They had a budget. I don't know why they put a budget of 60 million into this, because even it was unlikely to win that money back.
They wanted to make it a new classic.
I know, but it was unlikely to win that money back. It's not the sort of thing that brings in big bucks. It's the same thing like, what sort of an idiot gives the Ghostbusters remake $150 million whenever...
Well, maybe that all sunk into digital stuff.
Yeah, there's certain films that should have a lower budget. This one should have had a lower budget.
Yeah. But it was beautiful. I will give it that. I don't think I'll feel compelled to own it on DVD or anything, but like I say, like, you really did feel that you were meant to be viewing this in the lens of come back with us to that other time. Because there were a lot of, like, socially conscious things that were going on viewed through the lens of time. Like, there was a lot of references to racism and people being like, well, that's just horrible. Why do you hold these racist views? And the person being like, well, I'm just saying it. You know?
And, even if it's not a sequel, I would kind of like Netflix or BBC or something. They could get Kenneth Branagh to do like a TV version of Poirot, because Branagh still does TV work. Sometimes he was the lead in Wallander, I think for the BBC, the remake of the Swedish detective show. So give them to a TV series one that was, you know, far less ostentatious. Don't let him, you know, direct it. It's just him playing Poirot. This version of Poirot on TV that worked fine.
No.
Make this an unofficial pilot.
But it was good. I mean, we paid $3.50 each to see it, so I don't feel cheated in any kind of way. I knew what to expect going in, and that's exactly what I got. But it was very pretty. It wasn't like a Tarsem Singh kind of emotion or visually,
well,
kind of.
Almost nothing is. Tarsem Singh is amusing.
Few people can be Tarsem Singh, but it was nice. It was good. I think if I was an old lady, I'd be like, "Well, that was lovely. I only wish I'd had a bag of mint humbugs to enjoy while I watched it."
That's her impression of Judi Dench in this film.
Judi Dench. She comes in like character's like, my character's a ball buster, but I'm probably really sweet in real life. So yeah,
anyway, it was good. It's well, we thought it was good. I mean, I think Matty hated it. You know, Film
really?
Brain. I think he hated it.
We should watch his review afterwards just to see.
Yeah, so I could be all like, "Hey, Matty, I heard you didn't like Kenneth Branagh's new film."
Well, maybe he just doesn't like Branagh's style.
Do I have to?
Mark Steele doesn't like Branagh's style.
Well, he's like, I can't break Mark Steele's legs. I can, however, be
Please
like,
don't, 'cause he's
be like,
awesome.
Film Brain. Over in Northern Ireland, we hear you didn't like our local boy Kenny Branagh's new film. I think that it's time for ye to meet local Northern Irish justice.
What kind of hybrid was that?
That was accent of some sort.
That was nowhere. We heard in the wild. Okay, we got a kebab on the way home because god damn it, we fucking earned it after today. And you remember?
Yeah, Omega was in the hospital.
I wasn't in the hospital. I went to the hospital. Okay, so I had a previous injury in my hand, and I thought that I had accidentally exacerbated it. But see, when I'm typing or using the mouse a lot, especially handwriting, and just when I was an undergrad, I got in the habit of cracking my wrist, to relieve pressure on it. Well, I did that like on Thursday or Friday, and it made a crunching kind of feel. And then it hurt like a lot in the hand, and apparently I inflamed all the tendons. But props to the NHS, because I had to get a taxi to and from Mount McGelvin. That's the hospital. But once I checked in, I was only sat there for about 10-15 minutes, and they called me up, and a woman assessed me, and she's like, okay, go on, sit back down. It was about maybe another 15 minutes until they called me back. A nurse came and looked at us to get, okay, do this, do that, do this. Okay, we're going to send you to radiology. It's around the corner. Sat there for like 5 minutes, got the x-ray done. Sat for about another maybe 15 minutes before the nurse came back, and she's like, no, nothing's growing, the tendons are inflamed, so here's a splint. Don't crack your wrist anymore. And I'm like, okay, ma'am. And then I got a taxi back to uni to eat my lunch.
And then we had a kebab. Well, she had a kebab.
It was a busy day.
I had chips, deep fried battered mushrooms,
Ew.
and sweet and sour sauce.
Mushrooms. Mushrooms are terrible.
But we're almost out of time. Do you have any final words?
Out of time. No, I mean, it was good. I mean, you already know, like we say a lot, you already know if you're going to enjoy it. And if what we've said sounds good, go for it. But if you don't feel like paying for it, quite honestly, wait for it on DVD or Netflix. But it's still good. It's still a fun ride. If you enjoy the classics, if you enjoy the classic murder mystery, go on, give it a try. You might as well watch famous people doing it looking pretty.
Yeah.
That's what I've got to say.
Yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and I want to see more Branagh directed films because the guy's over the top as fuck, and it is hilarious.